It all started on a chilly October evening in the small town of Willow Creek, Maine. The streets were littered with bright orange leaves, and every house was adorned with fake cobwebs, plastic skeletons, and glowing pumpkins. Halloween in Willow Creek had always been festive, but something felt different this year. Something off. For 17-year-old Emma Harris, Halloween was her favorite night of the year. She loved dressing up, eating candy, and the thrill of being scared. But this year she wasn't going to a party. Instead, she had agreed to babysit for the Millers, a couple who lived on the edge of town in a large, creaky Victorian house. Her best friend, Chloe Thompson, had begged her not to take the job. "That house gives me the creeps," Chloe said as she helped Emma apply fake blood to her zombie costume in the school bathroom earlier that afternoon. Emma laughed. "It's just old. And they're paying me $100 for 4 hours. I can't say no to that." Chloe wasn't convinced, but she let it go. At 6 p.m., Emma arrived at the Miller residence. The house stood under a canopy of bare trees, its windows dark and the porch sagging. Mr. and Mrs. Miller greeted her at the door, dressed in last-minute pirate costumes. Their son, 6-year-old Mason, clung to his mother's leg, eyeing Emma shyly. "We'll be back by midnight," Mrs. Miller said. "He's already had dinner and he knows the bedtime routine. He's been a little spooked lately, talking about someone watching him from the closet. It's probably just Halloween jitters." Emma nodded and smiled. "I'll keep him safe." As the couple drove off into the twilight, Emma closed the front door and looked down at Mason. "So, what do you want to do first?" "Can we watch a movie?" he asked. They settled on an old Halloween cartoon and sat together on the couch. The house groaned occasionally with the wind outside. Emma noticed how the shadows from the tall grandfather clock stretched unnaturally long across the floor. She tried to shake off the unease creeping up her spine. By 8 o'clock, Mason was yawning. "Bedtime, little zombie," Emma said, ruffling his hair. Mason giggled and ran upstairs to brush his teeth. Emma followed, turning off the lights behind her. When she entered his room, he was already under the covers. "Don't forget to check the closet," Mason said, his voice small. Emma smiled. All right. She opened the closet door dramatically. "See? Nothing here." She closed the door and kissed him on the forehead. "Good night, buddy." Downstairs, the house was quiet. Emma curled up on the couch and started scrolling through her phone. At first, the occasional creaks and thuds could be blamed on the old house settling. But then something made her freeze. She heard whispering. Faint, just on the edge of hearing, like someone talking just beyond the walls. She turned off her phone and sat in silence. There it was again. Emma stood up slowly and tiptoed through the living room, listening closely. The whispering seemed to be coming from the hallway that led to the kitchen. As she turned the corner, the whispering stopped. The kitchen light flickered once, then steadied. She peered around the room. No one there. Just as she turned to go back to the living room, she heard a sharp knock, 3 short raps, coming from the basement door. Emma's heart skipped. She didn't remember anyone saying anything about the basement. She stared at the door, her hand hovering above the knob. This time louder. "Mason," she called out. "Are you out of bed?" No answer. She grabbed her phone and turned on the flashlight. Her hand trembled as she opened the basement door. Cold air wafted up from below, like a forgotten crypt. The stairs creaked under her weight as she slowly descended. The light barely pierced the darkness below. When she reached the bottom, she swung the flashlight around the room. Nothing. Just boxes, tools, and dusty furniture. She turned to go back up, when she saw something written on the wall. It was carved, deeply scratched into the wood panels. "Let me out." Emma's blood ran cold. Suddenly, something scurried across the floor behind her. She whirled around, heart pounding, but saw nothing. She ran back upstairs, slamming the basement door shut. Her hands were shaking. She grabbed a chair and shoved it under the doorknob to keep it closed. The house had changed. The air felt heavy, oppressive. The walls seemed to close in. She rushed upstairs to check on Mason. He was sitting upright in bed, eyes wide with terror. "She's here," he whispered. Emma sat beside him, trying to stay calm. "Who's here?" He pointed to the closet. Emma looked toward it. The door was now ajar, though she had closed it earlier. "Mason, did you open that?" He shook his head. She stood up, crossing the room slowly. Her hand gripped the knob. Just as she opened it, Mason screamed. Emma turned back. There was nothing in the closet. She shut it tight and locked it from the outside. Back downstairs, the lights began flickering again. The television turned on by itself. Static buzzing loudly. Emma grabbed the remote and turned it off. Then the front door creaked open slowly. She stepped forward, calling out, "Hello." There was no one there. But the porch was covered in footprints. Bare, muddy, child-sized footprints, leading into the house, not out. Emma slammed the door shut and locked it. She called Chloe. "Hey, Em, are you okay?" Chloe answered groggily. "There's something wrong with this house," Emma whispered. "I think someone's here." Chloe paused. "Are you messing with me?" "No, I swear." There's whispering, and something scratched a message in the basement wall. "Get out of there. Call the cops if you have to." "I can't leave Mason." "I'm coming over," Chloe said. "Text me the address." Emma sent the address and tried to steady her breathing. Minutes crawled by like hours. Then she heard it again, whispering louder now. And then footsteps. Someone running across the upstairs hallway. Emma ran back up, heart thudding in her chest. She opened Mason's door. "Me." "Mason," she screamed. She tore through the hallway, opening doors. In the guest room, the window was wide open. She looked outside. There was Mason, standing in the backyard, facing the woods. Emma bolted downstairs, threw open the back door, and ran to him. He was whispering to something in the shadows of the trees. "Mason," she grabbed him. He looked at her with glassy eyes. "She's calling me." Emma turned toward the woods. Standing just beyond the trees was a figure, tall, thin, and wrapped in what looked like tattered burial cloth. Her face was covered in a cracked porcelain mask, with hollow black holes for eyes. Emma screamed and ran back inside, carrying Mason. Chloe pulled into the driveway moments later. Emma waved frantically. Chloe ran up to the porch. "What the hell is going on?" "She's in the woods." Emma gasped. Just then, the power cut out. The house went black. The two girls and Mason huddled in the living room, using their phone flashlights. They heard it again. But not from the basement. This time it came from every door in the house. The front door, the back door, the hallway closet, all at once. And then a voice. A hoarse whisper that seemed to come from every wall. "Let me in." Emma screamed. The front door flung open violently, the cold wind howling through the house. The masked figure stepped into the threshold, head tilting unnaturally to the side. Chloe grabbed